And hey all, good morning and welcome to ShareTreck, our lobby for the pre-market activities. And I'd like to share with you what I'm thinking this morning. We are kicking off Tuesday. Tuesday is already over, so we are into Wednesday now. And I look at the futures out here. They're all negative to start with. And let me just get us back into where we always start the session with. 3-minute sessions, 3 minutes, 3 minutes. Okay. NASDAQ, S&P 500, and put both of them here. So you can see this while I talk away. So you can see that they are mildly negative in the morning. S&P 500 futures is down 0.17%. NASDAQ futures is down 0.27%. And common wisdom is that everyone is waiting for news from Jackson Hole when on Friday, Fed Chairman Powell would speak. So it's been interesting to watch. As we were mentioning in our previous live stream, investors seem to have taken some profits out of the Mag 7 and moved it into other areas which were beaten down but had potential in their opinion. Probably that's what has happened. And market has started questioning the multiples being awarded to AI. And that's the other phenomenon I'm seeing, because you see Palantir going down, you see NVDA going down, and that will again reflect in SMH and AMD and other stocks which are analogous to NVIDIA. And the surprising thing is that such high multiples were against the backdrop of a trade war, blocking off one of the biggest market like China. And on top of that, an additional 15% tax by taking share of the revenue, and potentially future curbs on GPU exports and chip exports. Despite all of this, the share prices were elevated. Now, NVIDIA is going to report on the 27th. It will be very interesting. Are we going to spike up again after the earnings, because the numbers are going to be still good? So that's the question. But anyway, the main message that we are getting from yesterday's action is that the multiples for AI is being questioned. It remains to be seen whether today that trend continues. Bond yields are on the rise again, and the 10-year treasury is now up at 4.35, which shows investors are still weighing mixed signals from inflation numbers, the labor market, and whether the Fed will actually make their move on the rates. I think I'll make a separate video about, it's going to be like the editorial videos, but I've put together a whole bunch of things that are major risk for the market. And I think I'll release it on Saturday. This is going to be done properly, so it's going to take a little longer for me to do that. I think Home Depot came in, and even though they said that they're going to maintain their earnings for the time for this whole year, there was a little bit of a problem out there, in the sense that they did not meet the expectations of the market. So they were not able to sway the market much. Right now, it seems like we are finally getting the much anticipated downturn. And I don't know if it's going to be deep or if it's going to be shallow. So we cannot make any major assumptions right now. One has to be cautious and careful. The trade-off is going ahead of schedule and shorting something like I have done, where you will end up with potential losses. And again, waiting for the right time, in which case you'll definitely make some profits, but you would not make as much as you could possibly have. So you have to do the trade-off looking at your own risk profile, the status of your portfolio right now, and That's what I would like to caution you about. Now, having said that, let's go and have a look at what's happening in the stock markets, and we'll take it from that. So first, I'm going to look at S&P 500. So let's reset the charts back to single window and a one-day chart, and just quickly look at the action. Now, S&P 500 futures is going to be bounded on the top by a resistance of 6,475 and on the bottom by a support of 6,374.75. So those are the two ranges that I'm seeing. Hi, Hot Dog. Thanks for joining. And then we have NASDAQ, which also is similar, but the NASDAQ is a little bit more weaker than S&P 500, in my opinion, because we had a support at 23,449, and right now we are at 23,396, which means our support has now become a resistance. And the next support for NASDAQ futures is going to be at 23,112.75. That's where I think we are going to come and stop for the day. Our sentiment is bearish. MACD is bearish. Momentum is also dropping down to average. If it goes below that, then you know how I feel about it, right? It means that we cannot trust what the market is going to do. And it's mostly bearish at that stage. Same thing with the S&P 500. Market sentiment is absolutely bearish right now. And we have got, I must correct myself, I wouldn't say absolutely bearish. It is bearish right now. MACD is bearish, and momentum is falling towards the average. And we don't want it to be the way that NASDAQ is. And that's the reason why I said S&P 500 is slightly stronger than NASDAQ at this point of time. Let's look at dollar index, which continues to kind of hover in a range out here, but on top of this diagonal line of support. And we have the 20-year and the 10-year, which have risen steadily, and they're now moderating. But the bearish sentiment is kind of diminishing. MACD has become bullish, and right now it's a little bit undecided, and momentum is still above average. If momentum falls below average, then I would say that, yeah, there is some legs to what we are seeing here. Otherwise, I would look at this as a bull flag, and bull flags usually have the probability of breaking out on the upside rather than the down, which means that we are going towards 5.06. So that's what I'm thinking. And now let us go on and have a look at the indicators and see where we are for the day. Now, this is the actual market. And when we open today, we are going to be opening above the support of 6,401. And if we do that, then this remains the support. But if we open below this, then our support is going to be around 6,303 for today. And the resistance will become 6,394.05. We have a bearish market sentiment, bearish MACD, and momentum also is falling towards average. So it's like one of those phenomena where everything is bright and sunny, and suddenly a whole bunch of clouds come in, it becomes dark, and it starts raining. So it's that split screen movement that we are witnessing, the trend reversal. But for this trend reversal, I have not seen any topping tail signs or anything. So I'm still holding on to the possibility that we might potentially develop another shoulder, and we could have a reverse head and shoulder, and that would become the seed for the downward momentum. But right now, I wouldn't trust completely that the market is falling. That's just me. Again, not financial advice, just my personal opinion. And NASDAQ also is continuing to start building up resistances. We have a resistance which was earlier a support at around 23,609.82, which becomes a resistance today. And we have a support today at around 23,247.29. If we open above that, that continues to be a support, and we have a resistance of 23,598.91. But if we open below this, then I think the support for today is going to be 22,989.44. Our MACD is bearish, momentum is bearish, and momentum is falling steeply towards the average. And if it goes below average, then all bets are off. MACD is also bearish. Now, VIX is picking up. We haven't seen VIX pick up so much of late, but now consecutively for a few days, VIX is picking up. That shows that the market is realizing things are not looking that great. And we have gold, which is kind of stabilizing. And we have this parallel channel. I think we are within this parallel channel. And this is a bull flag. And bull flags have the probability, higher probability of breaking out on the upside than on the downside. And if they break out on the upside, you guys know very well that this is the flagpole and we'll have as much gain on the top. And that should take us very close to the resistance of this parallel channel around 3,722.753. So that's my thinking about gold. QQQ is indicating that we are opening negative. Yesterday we were, I think, minus 0.18 at this time. Right now we are minus 0.25. So I think the bearishness has intensified a little bit. Our put call ratio is almost neutral. One is neutral. I would say 0.7 is bullish. And I think since we are at 0.91, I would say that we are more or less neutral at this point of time on the put call ratio side. And let's go on to AI. NVDA is down minus 0.24% in pre-market trades. And we had this diagonal line of support, which broke down. And again, just like we saw on NASDAQ, I do not see any topping tail or any chart pattern that indicates a trend reversal or downward signal. But we should see if we are going to develop a reverse head and shoulder. And if we think that a reverse head and shoulder is possible, then what we are looking for is another jump back up, maybe a bounce from this support, and then coming back down again. And then if it falls below this line of support, and that's exactly when we would have triggered the reverse head and shoulder, and that becomes the seed or the foundation for the bear channel to start. And we don't have any formal bear channel indicator at this point of time. So I would always take this with a bit of caution. And remember, for NVIDIA, we have earnings on the 27th. And there are reports like analyst Joseph Moore has increased NVIDIA's 2026 revenue and EPS forecast, expecting higher shipments and quicker assembly. He predicts an 85% market share in AI data center chips next year. Now, all of this news could probably get validated when NVIDIA reports on the 27th. And if that happens, you can imagine what happens to the stock price. So I would expect bottom feeders and others to assume that this is the time to buy NVIDIA back again. So I wouldn't be surprised if before the end of the day, we see a little bit of a turnaround for NVIDIA. I wouldn't say the same for Palantir, but NVIDIA may determine the direction for the entire index and also Palantir. We have Meta, which is down 0.63%, and it has got a support at 735.52. And we have this gap up that needs to be filled. So I'm expecting that we are going to come down below this, fill the gap before we do anything else. So that's a very distinct possibility. So let's see what happens. The bullish sentiment is kind of waning. MACD has already become bearish, and we are very close to average momentum. So if momentum falls below average, then I think we'll be getting into bearishness, and it will start manifesting in terms of signals. And I think in case of Meta, I can see a topping tail out here. This is a topping tail in my opinion. And it's also matching up with the other candle that had a longer wick on the top. So I think that probably Meta is turning around. Let's look at Google. What's happening with Google? Google has got support at around 202.70, but pre-market it's at 201.16. So if that is the case, then this will become a resistance. 202.91 will be the resistance for today. I'm not changing the color. I don't want to jinx it. Maybe it opens higher, but we could also have a support at 195.82 if we continue coming down. Now, having said that, let's look at Amazon. Amazon is down 0.48%, and that means that this diagonal line of support is now going to become a resistance today at 227.72, and we are going to get a support which is going to be at around 219.65. Apple is down 0.44%. Support is available at 222.58. Microsoft is up 0.06%. Market sentiment is bearish. MACD is super bearish. Momentum is below average. So I'm thinking that Microsoft will continue its journey downwards. I'm going to extend this diagonal line of resistance and put it in the right place out here, all the way up to this horizontal line of support. And our support for today for Microsoft is going to be $505.05. That's where I think it could end up, the worst case scenario. Right now it's at 510.09. Tesla is down 0.35%, and Tesla had a support at 330.29. Pre-market it's at 328.08. So I'm thinking that 330.29 will be the resistance for today. And for today, I would peg the support somewhere around 320.77. Let me put a minor line of support out here. And you know, guys, I usually put minor line of support in orange. So I want to put this color orange out here. So this is the minor line of support for today. And if we fall below that, then our next support is going to be 297.83. Oracle is down 0.35%. AMD is down 1.58%. And I think the market sentiment has already turned bearish. MACD is bearish. Momentum is just at average. It could fall to below average today. It's all simpatico with NVDA. Where NVIDIA goes, everybody goes. It's like the QAnon kind of a slogan out there. SMCI is down 0.65%. Now I'm feeling a little bit bold to buy SMCZ, and I might probably do that today. Broadcom is down 0.15%. Palantir is down significantly. Pre-morning, it's down 2.95% in pre-morning trades. And I think for today, it has got a support at around 152.95. Right now, it's at 153.10. I'm expecting that this support might hold and it will bounce back from here. And it has to stay above this. If it doesn't stay above this and if it comes down, then the next support is going to be 144.85. But I am thinking that having completed the gap fill, it would take advantage of this support and bounce back. SMH is down 0.30% in pre-market trades. MACD is bearish. Momentum is also average, and it's been dropping significantly. And market sentiment has also turned bearish. Tempus AI, which was going great, is now down for the second consecutive day. Pre-market, we are down 3.54%. And even though the market sentiment is bullish, MACD is moving towards the signal line to cross over to the bearish side. And suddenly the overbought status of the RSI has changed and the momentum has dropped precipitously overnight. And that's not a good sign. And I would like to look at Rigetti and see if it has fallen below my sales price of 16.10. Yes, it has. So I'm going to watch what happens with it. I don't know if I want to take the risk of believing in the technical analysis, but technical analysis would suggest that we could probably bounce off from here. But it also remains a fact that we have hit this support more than 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So generally, after it hits the support maybe 5 times, after that, the support becomes weaker and there is a increasing probability of breaking down from the support. So I would be watching this carefully, and if it starts bouncing up here, then I might decide to buy. That too for a day trade, not for swing trade or long term. One has to be very careful with Rigetti in this kind of a situation. And what else do we have here? Wipro, I had, if you recollect, I had bought that a week ago. Now it is profitable. So I'm going to take some profits and exit from Wipro. And what else do we have here that I want to check out? That's about it. Let's go on to Genomics and look at what's happening out here. Prime is down 1.54%. This bull flag is going to continue to be a support today. And we still have a long flagpole, so I'm not too much worried about it at this point of time. Next, let's look at Intelia. Intelia is up 0.10%, but support continues to be somewhere in the region of 8.98, and resistance happens to be at 11.34. Market sentiment seems to be very bearish. MACD is also bearish, and momentum has dropped significantly and it's below average. So I think the chart is looking bad for Intelia. Caribou also looks the same like Intelia. And it has got a minor line of support at 1.61, and it has got a minor line of resistance, which is going to be at 1.86. So that's the status for Caribou. And then Beam Therapeutics is up 0.37%. MACD is bearish. Momentum is also very weak. And market sentiment is absolutely bearish. It could fall down all the way up to 15.04, which is where it will get support. It will get resistance at 17.44 today. That's the resistance for today. Altimmune is down 0.83%. And it has got a support on this diagonal line of support. So for today, the support is going to be 3.15. Right now, it's at 3.59. Editas is up 0.76%, and it still has a support out here, this diagonal line of support. And for today, the support is going to be 2.48. And we have Illumina, which is up 0.11%. Market sentiment is bearish. MACD is bearish, but tending towards the signal line to cross over to the bullish side. And momentum is picking up, and it's above average. Plenty of room on the RSI. And Illumina seems to be making a very serious bid to cross the resistance of 103.27. If it manages to do that, I would like to see it confirm above that for the second day. And then I would like to get into it so that I can start pursuing it for a target of 136.39. Next, we have CRISPR Therapeutics, which is down 0.85%. ARCG seems to have bought even more CRISPR Therapeutics. So I think that's a good move because CRISPR is a very good company overall, inherently, regardless of the multiples and other things that people might say. I think that it has got IP and it has got a whole lot of own therapies which are in very good shape, no adverse report on the clinical trials, and also targeting lucrative fields. So I think CRISPR is pretty good. CRISPR Therapeutics is pretty good, worth buying. But personally, I would wait for it to come closer to our target for the reverse head and shoulder. So today I'm watching the biggest test. This reverse head and shoulder will trigger when we fall below the support of 53.29, because that is the neckline in my opinion. So if that doesn't happen, this reverse head and shoulder could fizzle. So let us see whether it can break through this line of support today at $53.19. If it does that, then we are in business and there will be opportunity to pick up CRISPR on the cheap, but one has to wait for a longer period of time in order to realize gains from that. Allogene is up 1.90% in pre-market trades. Grail is up 0.06%, and PSCB is up 0.77% in pre-market trade. RG is down 0.09% in pre-market trade, and 24.62 will be the resistance for today. Vertex is down 0.07% in pre-market trade, and it's formed this bull flag out here. I'm waiting to see if it can break out on the upside. Right now, we have sufficient number of candles. I feel comfortable that we have a bull flag out here. I'm going to draw a line of resistance out here just to show the top of the bull flag, and we had a breakout of this, and then our target will be 413.37. That's what we are looking at. Next, Ginkgo Bioworks is up 0.59% this morning. Yesterday, I was disappointed that we couldn't confirm about this diagonal line of support, which was the top of the bull flag. But today, I'm seeing this diagonal line of support out here, providing some support for today at around 11.86. And our resistance is going to be this diagonal line of resistance of the bull flag. And that's going to be at around 13.23 today. Of course, after that, I want to take a look at Precision. Precision is down 2.17% today after having gained 9.15%. I'll wait for the market open. We have a support out here at 3.05. I'm expecting that we'll confirm above the support and build a foundation and then move upwards. And then we have Lilly. Eli Lilly is down 0.03%. I'm still profitable on Lilly. I'm going to hold on. I'm thinking that it will move towards the center of the regression channel. There's plenty of gains to be made, so I'm not selling out anytime soon. And what else do we have here? RAD. RAD is Ultragenics. Remember the video that I made about Ultragenics? I'm still following this closely. It's down 2.44%. And I'm thinking that we need to do some serious technical analysis on Ultragenics. And I'm going to draw a diagonal line of support out here. And this is going to be at the support for today is going to be 27.70. That's the support for today. And we would likely bounce off from this support. And we are forming a bearish pennant out here. And it's still a bearish indicator, but market sentiment has become positive. And we also have bullish MACD, though it's trending towards the signal line. And momentum is still below average. We need the momentum to go above average so that we can trust the market direction. So right now, I think I'll still wait. I want to acquire RAR, but I'll wait for it because I think it's a no-brainer. Again, personal opinion, not financial advice. That said, I would like to go and look at currencies. Sorry about that. I'm looking at Bitmap, Bitcoins, and where is Bitcoin? Come on, Bitcoin USD. So as we can see here, Bitcoin has come down. It's finding some kind of a support out here. Ideally, I would have said that our minor line of support is going to provide support for us today at around 111,000 and 120. 111,120 is going to be the support for today. And we are coming down. We should bounce off this and then test the resistance, which is going to be at 120,026. So that's going to be the resistance for that. And market sentiment is bearish. And we also have momentum, which is below average, and MACD, which is bearish. But one of the things I have noted about Bitcoin, I'm actually trying to make a video on it, but I'm unable to create the charts that I need to illustrate my point. But basically, Bitcoin is highly correlated with NASDAQ and S&P 500. So the direction that NASDAQ and S&P 500 goes, so will Bitcoin. It's not going to act as a contrary asset. But there are some minor deviations. So the correlation is not 100%, but it's significant enough that we can believe that 95% of the time, Bitcoin will move along with the stock market. So that's the reason why I think one has to be cautious with Bitcoin. Ethereum also is doing pretty good this morning. It has picked up a little bit, up 3.20%, trying to regain whatever it lost yesterday. It's recovered half of the loss from yesterday. And in my mind, this is a bull flag. And I'm going to pull this down here and bring this down. So this is a new bull flag. And if we break out on the upside, there's going to be a huge upside out there. But the bullish sentiment is waning and MACD is already bearish. Momentum is still pretty good. So it's all mixed signals out there. Wait for what happens in the index, and likewise will happen with Bitcoin. So friends, that brings me to an end of today's session. If you have any questions or anything you want me to look at, I can do that. And I'm just going to take the opportunity to look at something that we added yesterday, AMDS. So AMDS doesn't have much of a problem. It says market open. Market open. Okay, why is it saying market open? Let's see what's happening here. Leverage share, my advanced micro devices, ETP, London Stock Exchange. Okay, that's why it is saying market open. So AMDS is going up, and that indicates that AMD stock is very weak right now. So I think it would have further gains. One way of looking at it would be to see that we potentially have a reverse head and shoulders out here. So this is shoulder, this is head, and this is shoulder. And if we do that, and if we take this to here, and then move it, move that from there and put it out here. So it has already triggered, and our target is going to be 1.928 for AMDS. That's what I'm thinking. Next, let's look at the other thing that we added out here. Let me go into genomics. And in genomics, we had ABCL. What's happening with ABCL? ABCL is down 0.70 in pre-market trades. This diagonal line of support that I had drawn earlier has now become a diagonal line of resistance. Now, if we manage to close down below this diagonal line of resistance, it will confirm the resistance, and then breaking out above it will become a little bit of a problem. And we have the potential for a for a head and shoulder out here. the way I visualize it is this could be the shoulder. This could be the head, and this could be the shoulder. And for all that to trigger, we need to come down to somewhere around $3.90. And that's where it will get triggered. So we need to drop further for that. Market sentiment is bearish. MACD is bearish, and momentum is just about average. So friends, that brings me to an end of the analysis today. I'm sorry, I've been yawning a little bit, but I was not able to sleep well. My dog had some needs at night, so it's not been a good sleep. So I'm going to go back, have my breakfast, have a little nap, quick nap before the market opens. I'll catch up with you guys again. I hope wherever you are, you have a wonderful day. And thanks, Hot Dog, for joining. Bye for now. Make a lot of profits. See you.